Hello and welcome back to Green Hill Garage. In today's video we're going to be doing measuring and showing you guys how I'm going to make this metal hood fit. I had our dog, who's been a bad little dog, caught her earlier into the cat's food. I don't know how she climbed all the way up into the cat's shelf and got into the cat's food, but that's another story. Anyway, so we're going to do some measuring on that. If you saw my last video, you saw that the I believe piston rings have given up on this thing. When I first got it, I saw one of my viewers commented and said that one of the fuel pumps, the aftermarket fuel pumps, pushed too much fuel. I hadn't really thought about that, but when I got this thing, the oil did have some gas, pretty bad gas smell to it. I didn't really spend much time feeling it to see if it had been diluted, but it probably was. So probably piston rings. So I've been pricing around. Pistons and piston rings are somewhere in the $120 range. I'm not sure what condition the cylinder wall's in. I have a machine shop though that I could probably get these cylinders bored out. I saw oversized pistons for sale for these things. So I'm going to do some research into that, but we're going to do a tear down and rebuild on this motor. At least a tear down. If it's just head gaskets, then that'd be nice, but I kind of doubt it's something that easy. So we'll go ahead and I'm going to start measuring out. Basically my plan is I'm going to lay a flat section here to here. It's kind of an angled piece. And I'll lay a flat section here and then create a edge off of here. And I'll have a little piece that comes up, big piece here in the center that comes to the middle, another piece in the center that's identical, just opposite. And then we'll have they'll meet up here in the front, and then there'll be a drop down. And what I'm going to try to do is weld some brackets on so that we can tie onto these original clips. I'll just weld on another bracket here and here, and that should allow us to use our original hinge assembly. And then I'll also weld on, I'm not sure what it's going to be, bars or how that connects, but we'll figure something out and we'll get that all tied in so that the original latch setup works. Same story over here, just another angled piece and then a cover. And I'm going to need to figure out something for this wheel well. The other wheel wells got a plastic fender. Haven't seen any fenders on eBay, but I'm going to keep an eye out because I don't really want to have to make a metal one. So that's where we are with that. So I'm going to get started measuring, and then I'll get out my sheet metal and start cutting. And I'm going to set you guys to time lapse. Okay, so what I've been doing is just measure everything out. I've got a template here for the small section of what I'm doing. But these big sheets are the sheets that'll lay in the center. I only have enough room on this sheet of steel for one. I have another sheet of steel, but it's pretty big and heavy, so I was going to wait until my brother came out to help me move it. So I'm just marking down what I can on this one. So we got our big center piece, and then we've got our two side pieces. And what I did here was where I drew lines that I didn't want to draw. Basically what I do is I just make a line through them. I did some framing a while back, and when you frame, that's what you want to do, is just scribble out your line that you don't want to use so you don't mix up the person cutting. So we got those in, and so we have our two equal pieces. These ones will lay on either side. These ones are the pieces that are going to lay here all the way over to here. So, and then that big piece is going to be the one that lays here. And then on our next sheet of steel, I'll make the opposite one. So when you're measuring, you're going to want to find center. So basically it's 51 inches from inside of this pole to the inside of the other. Calculated half, found half, and then marked out half here. Let's see. Oh, there we go. Okay. Oh, okay, so that's what I did, just mark out half. So we have half marked out. Then I made my measurements off of that. So yeah, I'll just set you guys back on time lapse, and I'm gonna get started. Well, actually, keep going on measuring, and then I'll get started cutting. Okay, so we're outside now, and I'm just gonna make some cuts here, so we can put some of the stuff up. And then what I'll do is I'll tack weld everything. I'm just kind of fitting the form. I don't know of an exact plan online, so I'm just kind of making my own plan as I go. I really wish I had some sort of like a 3D modeler or something to make this, but I don't have one, so we're just going to use a real life modeler, doing it in real life. Um, so we got all our pieces marked out, at least all the small pieces that'll fit on this sheet. I'm going to need to cut another one, but I'm just going to do all these cuts. I've been doing it with this DeWalt 4.5-inch angle grinder. I got a diamond wheel on. It worked really good with tin. Usually I prefer just the cheap abrasive wheels, but they burn out pretty quickly. We'll see how long this one lasts. We did a gob of tin. We did a shop edition with this one wheel, and it still looks just the same as it did when we first bought it. So we're gonna go give that a try, and we'll set you guys the time lapse. Okay, so we got our cutting done. I hope you guys can kind of tell what I'm going for here. As you can see, all this is just mocked up, and I'm still gonna have to cut a bunch of stuff to make it fit. We got gaps, as you can see, because I haven't ground or planed anything. But that's what we gotta do. That's why I cut everything a little big. Uh, Wish I would have cut this a little wider. I'm gonna have to make a note of that. But I think I can get away with it by just adding the lip that's gonna come over here. Um, Same story on the other side. I'm gonna need to get out my big sheet of steel tomorrow to be able to make this other section. But basically, what I got in mind is we'll have this sheet, we'll have our slope here, we'll have another one, we'll have a little elbow, and then I'm not sure how I'm gonna make the corners work, but I'm gonna make corners. I'm gonna have a different flat piece that goes all the way along here. And what that guy's gonna do is that's gonna hold the brackets for our hinge setup here, because I want this to utilize the original hinge. And on top here, I think we're gonna need uh, another sheet to be able to catch this, and then we'll have to weld on some brackets. I'm not 100% sure yet what it is that pins under there. I think it's a bar, but we'll figure out what hinges, and then we'll be able to use our original latch. So I'm gonna call it a night. Hello, Joshua. How are you? There's our shop cat. So yeah, I'm gonna call it an evening, and we'll get back at it again tomorrow. Okay, so it's the next day. I went ahead and off camera, I cut the other piece. I had a big old sheet, so I got that cut. And then while I was at it, I realized that my original pieces I cut, they were going to be way too small. So I cut some new pieces. Instead of 3 inches, these are 3 1/4. So yeah, just something to keep in mind. So I cut them bigger than 3 1/4. And then we're going to go ahead, as you can see, there's stuff like this gap here, so, or the gap right up here, sorry. And then we're going to go ahead and buzz that down and get that trimmed up. Right here, I didn't have an even edge, and I knew I wouldn't have an even edge, so I added a lot more material to these two than there actually needed to be, so we can grind all that down. But hopefully you guys can get the idea of what I'm trying to do here. Just laid on some plates. I'm gonna try to make a sheet, or it's not a PDF, but I'll try to make a sheet and then take a picture of it, or just screenshot it in the video later on once I get everything done. That way you guys can get the final numbers, so you can make this. Basically every number I make, though, you should probably get like 1/8 of an inch extra if you're doing it with a grinder wheel like I am. If you got a laser cutter, then you can do everything spot on. Even a plasma cutter would probably be a lot more accurate. That's just an update on that. So I'm gonna get started on grinding, and we'll set you guys to time lapse. Okay, so I got most of the grinding done. As you can see, there's still some gaps. So what I'm gonna do, I gotta go and I've gotta go help. We've got loading cows out on the farm, but later today I'm gonna come out here and finish. We still got some corners and whatnot to align, but I'll get everything aligned, and then we'll start tack welding and getting our angles set. So we'll we'll go till then. Okay, we're back on the project. Did some grinding, and I went ahead, and what I decided to do is start from the middle and work my way outward. That way I can adjust anything on the sides there. So went ahead, got my welder set up. I just have a stick welder. I'm running, I can't remember, 5/32 rod. It's supposed to work really well for sheet metal. Running about 95 amps. Not sure that's quite enough though. It's been acting a little cold, so I may turn that up. I'm no expert welder. I'm still learning. But next step, I'm just gonna get everything all tacked together here, and yeah, we'll go from there. So I'm gonna set you guys back to time lapse. beads on. Wished I could have welded a little better. I'm not sure what exactly is wrong. I'm kind of new to welding, so this is new ground for me. This one turned out pretty rough up here on the center. And I don't know what it didn't like, but I got some nicer ones. Not this one. Where was it? I had one that really worked. I think it was down here somewhere. These ones turned out a lot better. Yeah, I think it was this one. But I've only ever... Normally I just do wire feed welder with... I just have cheap panels that I'm constantly fixing. So they burn through all the time. So it's hard for me to figure out what exactly a good bead on this metal should look like with this particular welder. Haven't used this welder much. Last time I used this welder, I think I was welding some 1/2-inch plate steel, and I made some beautiful beads with that. It was really easy to make nice welds with 1/2-inch plate, but this 12 gauge sheet metal is a whole different animal, as you can see. So I'm gonna call it for tonight, and I'll pick up again tomorrow. So now we've got most of our welding done. It is the next day. I've just been I had to go load out cows and I had other stuff I had to do, but as you can see, this weld isn't the best weld. It's actually this one looks pretty bad, but the other side I got a really nice bead, so I feel good about just grinding this down and bondoing it, since the other side is a lot better. Went ahead, ground down most of the center. So what I'm gonna do now is just find these little holes, like right here, start patching little holes, and then I'm just gonna keep filing and grinding, and we'll get this thing nice and smooth, and then we're gonna get ready to lay on. We'll have a front piece comes off of here, and another front piece comes off of here, and I got to figure out the angle that they need to meet, because it's going to be coming down and they're also at an angle in a little bit. So I got to make some measurements. We'll get ready to cut that. So then we'll see you guys in the next segment. Now, I think it's been a while since I last updated you guys, but over the course of the last couple days or so, I've just been measuring, getting these pieces cut and then welded in. This is one of my better welds. Basically, I had to kind of build up some material under. This one's all ground down. Build up some material under in order for this welder not to burn through. It is a stick welder, so I'm kind of new to stick welding. I have done some wire feed, but not very much of that either. So got the welds done. I got these two front pieces in on top of our main pieces, and this is where our brackets are going to lay, right under here and tied to our hinges here and here. And then I went ahead, got our side skirts welded on. If you can see this, let's see, there's that one and there's that one. This one warped with the heat, basically allowed it all to tilt up, so I'm gonna have to grind down the welds and then try to get that bent back over, because that isn't gonna work. So next thing I did was I got the roof piece cut, but since we didn't have 36 inches, I'm gonna have to weld two pieces together and then grind it smooth. So I'm just gonna get to work on that. That's about it for now. So I'm gonna go ahead, grind that down, get that flat, and then grind flat all these welds, and then gotta cut a triangle piece to match here, and then maybe a triangle here, but I gotta figure out how to round these corners so they're not as sharp. So I'll get to work on that. So now it's evening, and been welding and grinding for most of the afternoon, except for when I had to go do chores and whatnot. Let's see. Okay, so I got this little front piece in. So you saw the main pieces in the last clip. We got these little pieces in, ran a notch here, and what I realized is we don't necessarily need to cover as much as I thought we did out at this corner. So we'll go ahead, we'll build our triangle here, and then I think what we'll do is to go ahead and just cut a straight line in there, and then I'll build a longer triangle that more, I guess, smoothly transitions out of there. I went ahead, ground down the ends on here, Just been welding and getting this all to fit. The next step will be getting out the belt sander and leveling everything. Same story over here. Just another big triangle. It might even have a little bit of an indent to it, but I don't think so. I think we'll just try to get it to fit in there. And then right here, we'll just go ahead and clip this corner and clip straight across there, and then have a triangle that fits here, but it's gonna be a lot longer of a triangle. So that's pretty much it for this evening. So we'll see you guys again tomorrow.